Hey there! You're listening to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends recap romance novels while giggling, putting ourselves in the characters' shoes, and generally being foolish. This week, we're doing an Encore episode. We thought y'all might still be in the Halloween spirit, so we're bringing you one of our favorites. Did Erin nearly lose her Hocus Pocus fangirl mind? Oh yes. Did we toil over the etiquette of borrowing clothes from friends at length? Indeed. Did we discuss the merits of ghost boners? We can only be us. And make sure to check out this book because it got a little cover makeover since last year. So, without further ado, here's our recap of Halloween Boo by Sarah Spade.
Hello, Erin. Hello. How are you?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Melody. Since we did that on the third Podiversary episode, I can't stop laughing at us going, hello. Hi.
It's us. We're here now.
We're professionals. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
I have something I want to tell you about. I have to announce it to the nation.
Oh my gosh, tell me everything.
I was talking to my friend Christine, lover of 90s movies, about Scream and The Craft. You know, this is our spooky episode. Spooky. It's spooky season. We're talking about spooky things. And so we were talking about spooky movies. And we were talking about all the 90s movies that we like that are spooky. And then we started talking about how super hot Skeet Ulrich is in Scream and in The Craft. And then like also how hot Kiefer Sutherland is in The Lost Boys.
Interesting.
And also how hot Timothy Olyphant is in Scream 2.
Oh.
And also Christian Slater in Heathers. And then we found out that all of these men have something in common. It's called a murder smolder.
Ooh, a murder smolder.
Yeah, it's like that look when a boy looks at you in a horror movie and you're pretty sure it's a murder look, but it's also kind of a sex look. And so I just wanted to tell the world about murder smolders because I think they're a thing that has not been named yet.
I like it.
Yes.
Murder smolder.
Murder smolder.
You don't know if it's like a danger bang situation or if he's really just going to stab you with a knife. Is he going to stab you with a dick or is he going to stab you with a knife?
Right.
That's the question you have to ask when you see a murder smolder.
It's like a Stern Brunch Daddy, but much more jank and dangerous.
And but specific.
Stickier and stinkier. From the wrong side of the tracks is the
There's
murder
way more
smolder.
bodily fluids.
Yeah. Bleach blonde mullet. Cross earring. That's a murder smolder. Ooh. Anyway, I wanted to tell you about it.
I dig that. Hard.
What's going on with you?
Wow. You know what? No, I'm going to talk about it on Patreon.
Okay. All right. Is this a $500 level story?
It's not quite that, but it is something where I feel like I need to protect the privacy of those involved a little bit.
Oh my god, I can't fucking wait. That $5 paywall is so thin, Melody.
It is.
We act like it is ironclad, like it's just our friends behind it, and it's so many people.
It's anybody with a credit card.
I can't wait. I can't wait to talk about Halloween Boo.
Me too.
Listen.
I love this thing. I love this thing.
Was it a great piece of literature? I don't know.
Listen.
Did I enjoy it from start to finish? Absolutely.
Abso-fucking-lutely, I would say. In fact, it was one of the very few books. I think there's a lot of HBs that read and they like share things with their partners and they like get the family involved in whatever. There's a reason I didn't know about romance Twitter. And it's because I read for me. And I usually, unless I have a reason to talk to somebody about it, I'm not like, whoa, this thing's happening in my book. But there was a moment in this book where I started out loud cackling so hard. I was moving from one room into another. And I started out loud cackling so hard
that Michael I can't wait to find out.
Oh, I mean, you have to know which part it is.
I don't. Is it at the end?
It's close to the end. Okay. And Michael was like, "What are you laughing about?" And so I was like, "It's this thing in my book," and I told him all about it, and he. I was like, I can't even explain it. And he was like, oh, okay, fine, good.
Yeah, like, I don't want to hear it. That's how the husbands are. They're like, good, we're so glad that you don't want to explain it. Please
And then, of course, I explained it in detail, as always happens.
The last time I encountered this with my partner was when we were reading the Prillium Prime.
Interstellar Brides.
And I started cackling reading this book. And he's like, what? And I was like, there's these two aliens and like one's a butt alien and one is a vagina alien. And then he looked at the cover and one was like smooching her and the other one was like looking at her butt. Oh God, it was so funny.
My other favorite one was when you were talking to a child about like cool books that people are reading. And you were like, oh yeah, I'm reading this book about this lady scientist who wants to chart the stars. And then this duchess who, embroiders cool things. And she's all about
she
botany.
Does art, but it's sewing art. And it's like art and science. And they're best friends and they're supporting each other. And David was like, that doesn't sound like the kind of book you usually read about science. And then I showed him the cover. It was Lady's Guide to Celestial Mechanics. And they're like smooching in a bed. And he's like, oh, yeah, that looks like more like
that does look like a book you would read.
Anyway.
So funny.
This book, Halloween Boo.
Oh, Halloween Boo.
Intended to read a different book. There was a Halloween anthology that featured our good friend, Sarah Whitney.
Right.
And her short story is still out there somewhere. She changed the name of it, so I don't remember what it is. But Google it up, Halloween story and Sarah Whitney. We were going to do that, and then it turns out that anthology dissembled. So if you guys were trying to look for Trick or Treat Me, we're sorry. We had to change it. And now it's Halloween Boo.
Halloween Boo.
I saw this cover and I fell in love with it because it's a borderline tingler in that we have like not the book. The book is a well-written, serious book. But the cover is like this guy with like an exposed torso and then just like a witch's hat fucking superimposed.
Yes.
It is hilarious. And it gets you in the mood for exactly what this thing is. It is a delight. And this is our first horny ghost ever.
This is our first ghost in podcast history. Thank you, Sarah Spade, for writing a wonderful Halloween ghost story because we need it.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got Danny, and Danny's apartment is haunted. Everybody, it's haunted.
Bing, bong, bong. At the very beginning, the very first line, or I guess maybe first line of the second paragraph, I was like, oh, kind of like Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
Because she moved from LA to Salem and she was like, I don't like all this Halloween stuff. And then I was like, oh, and her name's Danny. And then on page 2, it's like her best friend's name is Allison. And I was like, I am picking up on all of this super fucking subtle Hocus Pocus stuff.
I am so smart. Me, Erin. I am so smart.
I'm like highlighting it. I'm like,
oh,
the Sanderson account. I'm so smart. She's a marketing person and she's working on the Sanderson account. Her older brother's name is Max. And then it became like a bludgeon that kept hitting me in the face with the Hocus Pocus illusions, if you will.
Yes.
Such that I was like, oh, I'm not smart. This is like...
It's just pretty straightforward, is what it is.
Yeah, this is the most heavy-handed Hocus Pocus stuff. Anyway, so just so you know. Okay, all right. Okay.
Well, and the ghost's name is Zach, but we'll get to it.
But, P.S., that character is not named Zach, it's Thack. That is
Thackeray.
Thackeray Binks, not Zachary Binks, as many people think.
Listen, Erin, we know.
Some don't. Some don't.
Listener knows. Our one and only listener has seen Hocus Pocus. Come on.
But some people see Hocus Pocus and they think it's Zachary because it sounds the same.
All right. So Danny thinks her apartment is haunted.
I'm still going to point out every single Hocus Pocus joke in here.
I know you are. I'm all about it. She calls him Casper because she is a marketing exec, but she likes to stick to, the basics. She wants to stick there. So it all started with a rose petal, everybody. Her ghost made a rose petal materialize. And then it chased away a dude that she didn't want to make out with anymore. That was really cool. She's always feeling like breezes when all the windows are closed.
Oh God, you guys, this is like the worst. She does this thing where she bakes in her kitchen unsuccessfily all the time and then just leaves the shit out all over her kitchen overnight because she lives alone and can.
I cannot.
But one time he was apparently so charmed by that, he drew a heart in the flour that she left spilled all fucking over her counter as if that's not how we get ants, Danny.
Oh my God. And roaches.
Yeah, a lot of things. Listen, and so he just drew a little heart in the thing, like he left the rose petal. It's very sweet.
Listen, he's all about it and her.
Yes.
Yeah. Casper's all about it. He's a friendly ghost. As we'll find out. A very friendly ghost.
He's a horny ghost.
She hates Massachusetts and she doesn't like Halloween.
Her one and only friend is named Allison Shaw, which is in Hocus Pocus. The character of Allison does not have a last name, but the actress who plays her is Vanessa Shaw, just in case anyone was wondering.
Shit, I did not catch that.
I'm deep. There's a lobster one later that I'm sure you didn't catch either.
A lobster?
Don't you remember the best part of Hocus Pocus? I'll get to it when I get to it. It involves a lobster. Okay.
Pardon me, madam.
Yeah, pardon you.
Okay, so she can't believe it. That's the thing. And then, okay, so then I'm really good at this. I am a professional. Okay, then it switches to Zach's perspective. Zach, not Thak, everybody, because we are modern over here.
Yes.
He's completely in love. He's completely in love, and it says the only problem is that she's alive and he's kinda not. Also, I don't know why I loved it so much, but I love that in here is kinda instead of kind of.
Oh, okay.
Did you not notice that?
Didn't even notice. Nope.
It happens 3 to 5 times, and it's always Kinda. Kinda.
Huh. I'm all right with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I loved it. I don't know
so
why I
all
loved
right
it
with
so
it.
much.
I didn't even notice. You know what I love about Thak the ghost is
what's up?
When he talks. So he's you guys, standard issue ghost. His hand goes through stuff. He can float through the walls, but he can't get out of her apartment for whatever reason. Right. He can get to the balcony, and that's it. And he can't. There's a border that he can't leave, and he can't even. I don't think he can go upstairs or downstairs either.
Nope.
It's just that the downstairs neighbor has been a ghost long enough that she can do it sometimes.
She gets enough spectral energy to visit sometimes.
But what I love is that he floats about 4 feet off the ground at all times.
It's 8 inches.
Whatever. Yes. I don't care. I just love that he floats a certain amount off the ground. I love that he's not walking around, that he's literally floating. I imagine his legs trailing kind of behind him and him going chest first into any area he's going to.
In order to move, he has to lean forward a little bit.
Yes. Yes, he's on a ghostly Segway. That's what I imagine, but without the Segway. Yes.
Yeah. So he's completely in love with her. He wants to marry her. He definitely wants to bone her. Except, you guys, he can't get a boner. As a ghost.
You guys, just
ghosts
so
don't
you
get
know,
boners.
it's canon. It's Halloween Boo canon. Ghosts don't get boners. They can move their arms and mouths and legs. They can move every part of their body, but not their boners. They can't do it.
They can identify someone as a sexy woman or a sexy whoever.
Yes.
But they they will not feel anything in their bathing suit parts.
No. Like, he can identify that he is horny, but no boners. Which
right.
is it's so weird.
It's so awesome.
Can we talk about Lydia the ghost?
Yeah, of course. Lydia, the impatient, murderous ghost.
Lydia is a ghost that lives downstairs and loves her husband so much
that she won't leave.
And she tells Thackeray that on Halloween, I'm doing it. That on Halloween, the plane between ghosts and humans, the veil is thin enough that it's lifted, and then they can, they come to the living or whatever. So she straight up uses Halloween to scare her husband to death, to kill him, so that he can be a ghost.
So they can ride off this mortal coil together.
Yeah, so Thack sees her riding outside on his gurney where her husband is like straight dead with like the sheet or the body bag or whatever. And she's like excitedly waving to him like, we're off to heaven! Goodbye! Loved it.
It's so funny.
Yes.
So he loves her so much. And he doesn't know what to do with himself. And she's got a body that just won't quit. He loves her body, but he won't peek or be around when she's changing or showering because he does not want to take advantage. He wants everything to be consensual.
It says, I refuse to take something from her that she doesn't know that she's giving to me. Very sweet.
Oof. Right in the heart parts for me.
But at the same time,
okay, tell me. All right, devil's advocate.
If Melody were a ghost, if Erin were a ghost, no hope of ever, like, there's never going to be a time where you're in the same plane of existence as this other person. What's the harm, says Erin. I don't...
Yeah! And like, I don't know if any ghosts are listening right now, but like, I don't super care if a ghost looks at my titties.
I straight up don't care. If there is a lovesick ghost haunting this house that wants to see my bits, I'm fine with it.
Go ahead.
Honestly, I don't even close the windows most of the time. So
Me too!
But I'm saying that if I were a ghost, if I'm the ghost in this scenario, I don't know that I'm that polite.
I'm definitely not that polite.
Yeah, I would take a peek. I like that Thackeray doesn't, but I would take a peek. But he did see her by accident one time.
Yeah, and he was into it.
Yeah, and he was very into it. How do we feel about him calling his penis Little Zach?
Hate it.
Hate it.
You know what, though? I will say that what I did like about it is the only time he calls it Little Zach is when it's a flaccid ghost penis that can't get hard.
Fair enough.
The moment he gets a body, he calls it like my cock or whatever.
That is
so
true.
I'm okay with it.
Do you think that's something that the dead do?
Is anthropomorphize their flaccid penises?
Yes. Do you think that's just a trait in ghosts?
Do you think that he like sits on her couch when she's not there because he's bored? He's told us that. He like counts all the tiles in the bathroom. Do you think he like plays shadow puppet with his flaccid penis?
That's why he's named it.
Yeah.
It's possible, but I don't think
or
he could.
Like,
I don't think he can cast a shadow.
Like, be a mouth.
I don't think he has a shadow. I think light goes through him.
Yeah, listen, I meant like more of a puppet situation.
Yeah,
Do you think he puts on little pants puppet shows?
It's possible. He's so bored, you guys. Imagine being trapped in somebody else's apartment. You can't even pick up one of their books. You can only watch what they watch on TV, and then they're not there all day. It's like being a dog who can read.
Now I'm wondering if I should be like leaving my TV on for whatever
ghosts?
Like, friendly ghost is in my house. I'm not going to do it because they don't pay the electric bills, but now I'm wondering.
I don't think I have a ghost. I wish I had one.
I don't have a ghost.
No.
So, not that I know of, at least.
I did have a ghost, though, once when I lived in Maryland.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
What was that like?
The story of the ghost is too sad. I don't want to bring anyone down. But I found out, I lived in this very old condo / apartment building, and I found out that the one next to me had like a particularly horrific thing happen in it that caused the death of a young woman, and that her parents were so aggrieved of the situation that they just left all her shit in there, just as it was since like the 90s. And then I probably just was like so horrified by knowing that that was what was on the other side of the wall that I manifested this ghost. But I was like certain that there was a ghost after that, after I found out.
I was more asking like what cupboard was left open.
All of them. But also I leave cupboards open. That's the thing. I would be like, where's my keys? I wonder if the ghost took it. But like also I lose my keys a lot. I'd be like, did I leave all my drawers open? Probably not. But like, also probably I did. That's something I do, you know?
Yep. I completely hear you.
Forgetful or ghost. It's a very fine line. Messy or ghost, you know?
I'm glad I've never introduced that into my psyche, because Lord knows what I would do with that kind of carte blanche, you know? Okay. So she like goes to work and stuff, and her friend Allison Shaw.
Whoa. Did you notice at the beginning of chapter 2 that Danny is afraid of tripping and falling into an open grave at a cemetery? Something that happens to Danny in Hocus Pocus.
I forgot about that.
Oh, I'm telling you, I caught all of them. Also, getting trapped in a pottery kiln and being cremated alive, something that happens to the Sanderson sisters in Hocus Pocus at the high school. Also, being eaten by a giant lobster. There's a lobster in Hocus Pocus. Do you not remember the lobster?
Apparently, I don't remember the lobster in Hocus
Guys,
Pocus.
it's the only funny thing as an adult in Hocus Pocus. I don't know if I'm going to take shit for that, but it's true. It's after they go to the party with the Skellingtons.
Okay.
And then they're like run out of the party, and then they're like behind a restaurant, and this guy dressed up as a pirate comes out, and there's a lobster tank outside, like behind the restaurant, and he's like, who wants to get into the jacuzzi to the lobsters? And then he's like, you're bad. Like, takes the quote unquote bad lobster out and then takes it in to be boiled alive. I just like the idea that he particularly hates one of the lobsters. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that's what this is referencing.
It totally is. You caught everything. That's incredible.
So many more.
Wow, because I read this and I was like, oh, the Sanderson account. Cool. And that was about it. So anyway.
It goes deep.
HBs, I've got your next laugh out loud. Oh boy. It's July, folks. That means new Bonkers Book Club selections. And let me tell you, our cup runneth over. First, there's a historical smorgasbord. You get the entire box set of Nicola Davidson's Surrey SFS series. If you're not familiar, that stands for Sexual Freedom Society. This box set includes 5 ridiculously spicy historicals, with a variety of gender pairings and trios, and so much more that makes my heart sing. Then, Jenny and Katie are offering up one of their all-time favorites, Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. That's the mafia book where the heroine accidentally sets the hero's house on fire and then makes sure her mouth is full of strawberries because she knows he's extremely allergic. Best wedding kiss ever, right? And then we decided to do a little bonus. We wanted to see if audiobooks are something you'd like as part of book club. And Kay Lorraine and Meg Ann have a series called The Mate Games. You get to listen to Book 1, Obsession. It's a paranormal reverse harem that's done with duet narration. And the cast of narrators is insanely good. So, Joybringers have tons to look forward to. If you want to join, check out our website. The link is in the show notes. Intent on saving the struggling town and his family. And this time, nothing will keep him from pursuing Lara. Passion overtakes common sense and sensibility for our two lovers. A hilariously uncomfortable funeral, a protest that pits neighbor against neighbor, and a few secrets are all that keep Will and Laura from finding their happily ever after. Piece of cake! One reviewer after my own heart said, Laura is the badass Southern Spitfire I wish that I could be. I rooted so loud for Laura to finally stand up for herself, even when that meant facing her irresistibly handsome high school crush coming back into town, muscles ablazing. The attraction is intense and their quips are hysterical. You'll fall headfirst into their passionate rekindling. As always, buy links are in the show notes, and don't forget, it's only 99 cents. Hurry and get this sexy rom-com.
So she's at work and her friend Allison wants her to go to a work Halloween party. And she does not want to because she doesn't like Halloween. But she says that if Allison gets her a costume or whatever and she doesn't have to put any effort into it, then yes, she'll go. And Allison's like, yes, absolutely. And they talk about the ghost a bit.
They talk about hooking Allison up with Danny's older brother, Max Dennis. Very close to Max Dennison, the name of the character, Max Dennison in Hocus Pocus.
I wish that we were recording this on video because Erin's like,
so you
I'm
could
a
see my
private
smug
eye.
ass face.
Facial expressions, the way that her eyebrows are bobbing up and down every time she shows us another clue. All right, so then she goes back home, right? She just goes home.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, she's working late a lot.
Yes,
that's a big thing. Mostly because she needs to be awake at 11:59 p.m. on one night. So the author's setting up that she gets home really late.
Yes. This is the night where she gets her new romance novel.
Yes. Spectral sex.
I have a question.
Yes.
When you get a new romance novel,
I have a similar question.
I think, I'm going to cozy up and read. I don't immediately be like, I'm going to get busy tonight with some apparatuses. That's so weird. She prepares herself for what Jenny Norbeck calls one-handed reading. And I just feel like that's not a mentality when you start a new romance novel.
Here's my other question. And I don't know if I'm just doing it wrong. Because I've definitely seen Laura DiCarlo and her whole company talk about setting the mood and really making masturbation an event where you light candles and make it a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's self-care. And that's just not my life, especially right now.
Not my style. No.
Not really how it goes for me. So my question for you, Erin, is when you think to yourself, I'm gonna read tonight, because I know you do.
I guess I just think I can sit in my cozy chair. I don't really.
No, my question for you is, do you think to yourself, it doesn't matter what clothes I'm wearing because when I masturbate, I have to take every stitch of clothing off?
No.
Never in my life.
I feel and this is true, I feel like this is true of everyone, of the scenario there are certain parts of the scenario that probably have to be perfect for everything to line up, but that is not one of them for me. That's probably one of them for other people.
Maybe. I'm
sure there are stars that must align for everyone as far as pillows, clothes, angles, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So maybe that's her thing, is she's got to be totally naked.
Yeah, listener, I'm much more of a Fuck Yeah Florence kind of gal. I could be holding 16 pounds
up wearing
of
an
skirt.
18th century gown.
And it will happen. Okay.
Can I read it though? Because it just struck me as so weird.
Yes, please.
It's already downloaded, waiting for me to dive in. I can't find my robe and settle on slipping into a clean pair of panties and oversized t-shirt instead. Based on promises made in the steamy blurb for this sexy romance, it doesn't matter what I put on. Good chance I won't be wearing either for long. And it's God, is that what people think when they read a blurb for a romance novel? Because that grosses me out.
It does not gross me out. I am perfectly fine with people thinking that. But
I guess it grosses me out that, like, page 1, it's like, ready to masturbate. It's like, you've got, guys. I don't know. Maybe she should have said it was an erotica or something. I don't know. It's just
I know, because
they're gonna, like, do a meet cute, and then they're gonna have like a falling out, and then they're gonna, like, there's a whole thing that's gotta happen.
Right. There's a bunch of shit that has to happen a lot of times before they even kiss.
Yeah, you're like 2 hours away from go time, lady.
I know.
Stay warm.
Okay.
Maybe
so
she's
Zach,
a fast reader.
Meanwhile,
yes.
Yeah, apparently she is a speed reader.
Yeah.
So Zach is like, oh, I can tell Danny had a really hard day at work. She just, bless her, she just goes straight to bed. She needs.
Well, first she takes out her ice creams. She takes out a pint of ice cream to, quote, thaw on the counter. That's an odd one. Ice cream goes from freezer directly to mouth. Like, it doesn't sit on the counter for a while to, like, get more melty for me.
If my spoon doesn't go into it, then I, like, put it in my armpit or something. I don't sit it on a counter to wait.
Yeah, no, ice cream doesn't wait. Like,
no,
it made me,
never.
like, these 2 pages made me think, like, Danny is not the same type of woman as I am. We're not the same.
In fact, a lot of times if I get like a pint of ice cream at the grocery store, I put it in a bag that I know is going to be in the front seat. And then I just pop the lid and like rake my teeth over it on the way home.
What?
I know.
Maddie, I tried to go with you, but I couldn't go with you.
I hear you. It's a crazy place to go. I'm just telling you how much ice cream does not wait in my brain.
Yeah, I also I really like ice cream to be like really hard, I think. Like, I don't like a soft.
Yeah, I like it to melt in my mouth.
Yeah. So usually when I get it from the grocery store and get it home, like, I wouldn't want to eat it right away. I would put it in the fridge for it to get a little more harder. Anyways.
Yeah.
All right, so she leaves that.
Danny's a different bird.
So I'm sorry, I'm going to really zero in on this. She takes the chocolate ice creams out of the freezer and puts it on the counter to, like, defrost or whatever.
Yeah.
Then she puts on her, like, masturbation clothes, ? And gets into bed and then starts her romance novel.
Right.
So that ice cream is going to sit there for... what, hour?
All
2
night.
hours? Until she's done? Until she gets to the sex part of her romance novel and then, like, gets off and
I
then
think
goes...
what happened...
Okay, all right, tell me.
I think what happened is that she put it on the counter in the kitchen so that she could go change.
Yes.
And she was like, I'm going to come back and I'm going to get my ice cream and I'm going to cozy up in my bed with my romance novel and my ice cream. And then so that I can get to, booping that go button,
Booping that snoot?
Yeah, I was going to say booping that snoot. And then I realized that was a punishment.
That's a thing you do to dogs when they do something wrong.
Bad dogs. Anyway, so but then she got so excited about masturbating that she just forgot about that ice cream.
Yes.
Which is why Zach is like, I need to alert her to the fact that her ice cream is melting all over the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Question mark?
Blows my mind.
How did that happen?
She was in there so long.
But did it erode the bottom of the carton?
Yeah. I think that it came out the bottom of it, like the carton, like, like that. Yeah, it did that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
Anyway, so he goes chest first into that door on his ghostly Segway, and he's fixing to tell her, like, make a ruckus somehow to alert her to the ice cream. But then he can see a rustling under the covers because she did get to that steamy part of that steamy romance.
Yes.
And then he gets real excited about it, and he gathers all of the spectral energy he can muster and, like, starts having to chit chat with her. And he's like,
he says like words.
Danny, let me make you feel good. No,
and
it's husky and it's hot and it's like, Daddy, I want to make you feel good.
Yeah, and she starts going, yes.
Yeah, because she thinks like, ooh, my imagination is just on
it's
fire.
So good. Yeah, like I have such a good imagination.
So then he gets under the covers with her and he starts like blowing right on her cooter.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, first he asks, will you let me? And she's like, yep. Because again, she believes him to be her imagination. So she's like, yeah, sure. Get in there.
Yeah.
And yeah, he starts doing the blowing.
Yeah. Nice little airs all up on her vulva part.
She also describes herself as being like kind of half asleep, which is kind of strange to me.
Yeah.
She's like in a dream.
I don't know.
I don't know. You guys, it works.
Yeah.
She's into it.
I'm into it too.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then the ghost like keeps talking to her and telling her like how beautiful she is.
Mm-hmm.
She feels like the breeze on other parts of her body.
Mm-hmm.
And she comes like the hardest she's ever come in her life.
There are a few sentences in here that I found to be upsetting.
Whoa. Tell me everything.
You did not find any sentences in this sex scene to be upsetting to you.
Listen, I don't recall, if I'm being honest with you.
Do you recall the sentence?
Yeah.
Do you recall the sentence? I'm so slick and wet that there's a squishing sound as I reach between my pussy lips and gather moisture? Do you recall that horrific sentence? But it could work for other people. Just know that this one doesn't really like mince words when it comes to juices and
did not bother
squishing. Me. Yeah, I'm sure it didn't. Yeah,
didn't bother me at all.
If the wet and gushy version of WAP bothers you,
gushy.
Like, that's worse. Gushy. Ooh. You might cringe a little bit. Okay, moving on. Next morning, she wakes up with a smile on her face, cupping her bare pussy. I have no clue where my panties are, she says. Like, she's and she believes it to have been a wet dream. She thought she was dreaming.
Yeah.
That blows my mind a little bit, but
yeah, so she imagined this guy with a voice like whiskey, and he was whispering all the dirty things he wanted to do to her while keeping his hands to himself, watching me get my rocks off like it was the best thing that's ever happened to him.
So she goes to work. She works on the Sanderson account, and Allison, I think she maybe goes to dinner with Allison or something, and then Allison gives her the Halloween costume that she wants her to wear. And then she tries it on that night. She is so, like, surprised and, like, tickled by the fact that it's a witch costume. Didn't you find this to be strange?
Well, she acknowledges that it's, like, standard.
Yeah, she puts on, it's like a slinky black dress that's, like, very super tight. And it says, there's only one other thing in the shopping bag. It's black, like the dress, and I'm not sure what it's supposed to be until I grab it and I give it a shake. A pointed top pops up while a circular bottom is revealed. I chuckle under my breath. It's a witch's hat. But of course it is. Like, anyway.
Yeah, so she's trying on this dress. It's a whole thing, and then all of a sudden, a vase in her house just knocks off the table that's across the room.
Crash!
And she's like, I was nowhere near that table. Oh my gosh.
How did it happen?
What?
And then we clip to Zach, and guess what, you guys?
Wowza.
Zach was so surprised by his first ever boner that he knocked a vase off.
Yeah.
Of the dresser or whatever.
He literally like threw himself backwards away from his own boner and knocked into a table. And then he's like, what? I'm supposed to go through the table. I'm not supposed to knock into the table.
He says things like, little Zach isn't supposed to be awake. Little Zach isn't supposed to get an opinion anymore. A lot about little Zach that I was like, I don't know. But yeah, he's looking at her in that slinky black dress and like she bent over or something.
She's got that
and
booty.
He was all about it.
Yeah. So she's cleaning up the vase and he goes out onto the balcony and I cannot remember why.
He is trying to get as far away from Danny as he can.
Yeah, he's trying to give her privacy,
creepy.
Right?
Yeah. And then once he gets out on the he goes through the balcony doors to get out there, you know,
right.
As a ghost. And then when he tries to get back in, he can't. And he's a solid human person.
And he can no longer see through his hands, you guys. And he's got that boner.
And he's got that boner. And he sees that the moon is out. Now it's like the big yellow moon. And when the moon shines on him, he's a human man.
Yeah, and so then he goes, a tippity tip tip tap 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 tap. I would like to come in, please.
Yes.
And she freaks out, obviously. And she's like, get the fuck off my balcony. I don't know how you got up there, but, you need to go right now. And he's like, oh, Danny, I'm so sorry. I live here, though.
Yeah.
And she's very confused by that.
But she pretty much gets over it pretty quick. Like, he's like, me, like, I'm like Casper the Ghost.
Well, he's hot.
Yeah,
he's real hot.
Part of it is that he's hot. And she's like, well, if you want to come in, whatever.
So she opens the door and he comes in and then,
but she also recognizes the voice, right?
Well, that's later.
Oh, okay.
Because doesn't he try to go back outside and he can... when he's inside, he turns into a ghost again and he can't figure out why. And then she's like, you need to leave like right now or whatever. And so he's like, oh, I guess I'll go back out on the balcony. Yeah. So he goes back out on the balcony and then he turns solid again because the moon rays hit him.
Yes.
And I guess this is because it's like very, very, it's like 12:01 on Halloween.
Well, I think that's why he was able to do like the voice and like the cooch blowing. It's getting like closer and closer to Halloween. Yeah. He's getting more and more human. That's how he got that boner.
That's right. That is how he did that. So she finally does let him back in. And you're right. Her very first thing is like, hold on. You've been watching me walk around naked?
Yes.
And he's like, no, I never peeked. I wanted to, but I never did. She has a really hard time believing he's a ghost.
But she knows the voice. She did say, like, when he's like, hey, let me in, she knows the voice. And he says, I am the ghost that has been haunting your apartment. And he starts saying, like, the rose petal, the heart in the flower, like those things that, like, how else would he know if he weren't actually the ghost in her apartment? So she, like, believes him now.
Says that he did those things because he loves her.
Zach's just like, I don't have time to waste. Like,
I don't have time.
I've got 24 hours. We're going to spend some of it sleeping. Like, you need to know, like, I'm in love. I'm here. I'm a ghost and I'm in love with you. Like, and like, I'm the one that blew on your cooch the other night.
That's right.
You've got to know these things.
I talked dirty right into your ear and you came like a freight train. So think of what I could do with an actual penis.
And she's freaked out, but he's like, listen, I wanted to come in and see if I could like alert you to the ice cream situation that was happening in the kitchen. It was all very innocent. I got your consent, even though you did think I was a dream. Anyway,
so she's like, you sleep on the couch. I sleep in my bedroom. Good night. And nobody sleeps at all. When she wakes up, her apartment is spotless and he's making blueberry pancakes.
He couldn't sleep, so he cleaned her whole apartment, which I'm sure was a wreck.
I mean, think about the way she cooked, like the way she treats her kitchen.
Uh-huh.
Jesus. Yeah, so he does all that cleaning and then cooks her blueberry pancakes. And she's like, oh, they're my favorite. And he's like, I know that.
Because I do stalk you because we live here together.
Yeah. Well, and so last night, I think, too, she asked him, like, how did you die? Who the fuck are you? How long have you been here? Mm-hmm. And he has no idea. He knows his name is Zach. He does not know how he died. He knows that he was in the apartment before she got there. Mm-hmm. And then she's been there for about 10 months.
And like he's got abs. She has identified him as a sexy man with lots of abs. He does have that V. He does have very nice black hair that does just fall a little bit onto his forehead. Sometimes when he is making those pancakes. Yeah. So just so you guys know, he has been identified. She asked him and then why he brought the flower petal to her, and he's like, because when you want to let a girl know you're serious, you bring her flowers. And so he mustered up all his ghost energy and he brought her one flower petal.
And cute. She kept it.
Yeah.
And she kept it under a glass, which is a weird... Is that how you keep flower petals fresh?
Melody, she's the worst. Like, she wouldn't know how to keep up. Putting it under a glass just protects it from the chaos that is her apartment, I'm sure.
Fair.
It just means it doesn't get sticky with something else that she's just like throwing all around.
Or super dusty. Yeah.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Okay, so then she's like, all right, well, you've got one day, it sounds like. You got to go do whatever you want to do. And he's like, oh, are you kicking me out? And she's like, no, I guess not. Like, what do you want to do then? And he's like, I just want to spend all my time with you.
Yeah.
And staying in sounds great. She's like, okay, so if we're staying in, what do you want to do? And he's like, let's watch all the Halloween episodes from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I just could not be more unlike these people. Like, you have one day. You are a ghost. You have one day out of the year to be a man and leave this one bedroom apartment and get boners. And you are going to sit on a couch and watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Apparently.
I guess it's with this lady, but wouldn't you be like, hey, lady, let's go out and eat
Why don't we go on a fun date
in Salem? Let's feel the wind on our face. Let's do anything that is not inside this apartment. But I guess he just get together. Like, he wants to spend all his time with Danny. That's fine. But man, what a lame-o that she's like, well, I was just going to sit here and watch television reruns. Do you want to do that? It's like, no. If a ghost appeared to me and said, I have one day in a corporeal form, I'd be like, what do you want to do? Let's
is
do
it
stuff.
Me?
Yeah, is it me now? Gosh, I would not pass up on the opportunity to do a ghost.
Me neither. Ugh. Come on.
Especially, like, I know that Zach isn't, but, like, especially if he was, like, possibly an old-timey ghost.
Ooh.
You know?
Yeah. If he's
like
got,
a Kate and Leopold ghost, you know? Like that time, old-timey, like a time travel kind of ghost.
Mm. Yeah. Like a cravat or a...
Yeah.
You know, like an old duke suit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway... Those are just our dreams.
Someday when I write my book, Horny Christmas Ghost, it's going to be an old-timey ghost.
Hell yeah.
You guys may remember that I've mentioned my future bestseller, Horny Christmas Ghost, coming to a bookstore near you someday. All right.
Okay, so they do that, and then they order pizza. And she's like, this ghost just wants to order pizza and stay in. Like, could he be any more perfect?
Oh my God.
It's true. So they like chat, sort of. They keep on pausing the show to get to know each other a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand how Zach is like keeping his distance on the couch, but apparently he's a superhero.
Yeah.
I think I would immediately be trying to cop a snuggle, you know?
Yeah. I think if I were either of them, I would be doing a big snuggle on it. Yeah, I don't know what the problem is with these two.
Anyway.
He eats all of the pizza, and she's like, why are you eating so much pizza all the time? And, like, I would just slap her in her stupid face. It's because I haven't eaten anything in a year. But he's like, well, I didn't have breakfast because I don't like blueberry pancakes. Isn't that sweet?
He made them for her.
Yeah.
So then she gets a call from Allison, and Allison's like, are you excited for the Halloween party?
I put a spell on you.
Ooh, and now you're mine.
Okay.
Oh, so she's like, yeah, I have to go to this stupid Halloween party. And he's like, great. I can't wait to be at a Halloween party.
Oh, hey, HBs. I don't know if you've heard, but we have a Patreon. For as little as $5 a month, you get over 150 bonus episodes, most of which include Erin, videos of regular episodes, author hangouts, and so much more. Do you want to hear Erin and I recap every single episode of Crash Landing on You? What about a little film called Psycho Stripper? Do you want more recaps of ridiculous Thanksgiving and other holiday books and movies? And how do you feel about Naima Simone and I recapping amazing reality TV? All of that and more is on the Patreon. There's so much content at your fingertips as soon as you sign up. Seriously, hours and hours. Anyway, it's patreon.com/Heaving Bosoms Podcast if you want to check it out. And of course, that link is in the show notes. Keep being a badass.
can't wait to leave this apartment. Like, yes, finally.
Yeah, so they get dressed and they go to that party. Some other guy hits on her at the party.
A band dressed like skeletons is singing at the party, and they are singing I Put a Spell on You. And guess what? Allison is wearing a colonial dress, just like in Hocus Pocus.
It's true.
Uh-huh.
She's so proud of herself right now.
Yep.
So Allison brings over this other guy, and she's like, I brought this super lame dude named Ernie, and I thought you might want to do him.
Yeah.
And Zach is like, jeez, this is mine. Mine now.
Mine, all mine.
I peed in a circle around her when I was a ghost.
Yeah.
Anyway, she loves how possessive he's being. And he introduces himself as Zach, her boyfriend.
Mm-hmm. And she clarifies that he's just her friend, which makes him feel like a sad boy.
Right. We do like it when they get sad, though, don't we?
Yeah, but I did not like it how possessive he got, because it wasn't even like Ernie was like up on her. She like clearly rejected Ernie, and he was like very peeing in a circle in a way that was like, I felt a little too much. But it was like the thing that made Danny be into Zach. She was like, oh, she's like, jealous. And that's very opposite of what my reaction would have been. Because he says something like kind of passive aggressive and manipulative. Like he's like,
he says her dance card is full.
Yeah, well, not that. It's that Allison asks Zach if he's wearing a costume because he's just dressed like a normal dude. And he's like,
he's in his ghost clothes.
I'm dressed as a mortal.
Right.
Which is funny because he is a ghost dressed as a human when usually humans dressed as ghosts. But like no one gets that because no one knows he's a ghost. And so he makes this comment at Danny where he's like, I guess you liked Ernie's costume better than mine. And I was like, what? Shut up. That's passive aggressive as hell. Like, shut up, Zachary. You didn't find that passive aggressive? Okay.
Oh, no, I totally did.
But that made her like fall in love with him. She was like, wow, he's jealous. And I like that.
Not my reaction. No. But, you know. So then she's basically like, it's on, TM. Do you want to go back to my house? After they dance to that jazzy rendition of I Put a Spell on You because they have to dance to that.
She backs up on his boner a bunch and rubs her butt on him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She does that Nemo on an anemone thing.
Yep.
So then he's like, yes, I do want to do you. We gotta go. And he like picks her up, I think, and carries her to the car.
Yes.
Or maybe he picks her up and carries her into the house. It's one of those.
There's a carry because she calls it a caveman act at some point.
Yeah. And she drives like a crazy person on the way home, trying to get there as fast as possible. And he thinks it's the sexiest thing on the planet. I don't blame him.
Uh-huh.
And then he carries her up the stairs. I don't think he knows that she's afraid of the elevator, but he's just like, this is going to be faster. So he carries her all the way up. And then she backs him up against the wall and starts going down on him.
Yeah.
And he's like, whoa, you don't have to do this. I'm just like so excited to be with you. And she's like, no, I wanted to return the favor from when you blew on me with your spectral energies.
Yes.
And so he...
Yep. Yes, Mel?
So he just does like a big jizz on her.
In her mouth.
In her mouth.
She does graphically describe the taste and the hotness of the jizz, which was a little rough to me. I feel like it's body temperature. It can't be that much hotter than your mouth, Danny. And then it's like the taste, the saltiness. It's a lot. And she like loves it. She's like, But then she also is like, I don't usually like giving beaches, but I love this one. It's like, okay, let's just like stop.
Let's cool it a little bit.
Let's just cool it a little bit. But then immediately gives him a handy. Like immediately.
Yeah, because he's so hard.
Yeah.
And so she gives him that handy, and he does come again, just like all of a sudden, because it's been a while, you guys. He's been a ghost for who knows how long.
Yeah.
And so he comes in her hand, and her response is to...
This was the spot that made me laugh. Is this the spot that made you laugh?
No!
Okay, because there was one of two things that made you laugh so much. Now I know which one it is.
Yep.
This one was so perplexing to me that, like, it blew my mind. Anyway, continue.
Well, So she takes her hand. It says, okay, hot, sticky cum coats my fingers. Feeling daring, I yank the top of my dress down.
Daring?
My borrowed dress.
My dress? No. Your co-worker's dress.
Yeah.
All
right. Until more cleavage is showing. With a leisurely swipe, I coat the tops of my tits with his cum.
My God. No, I take that back. There is no God in this. She pulls down. This is a stretchy dress. She pulls it down to reveal more cleavage. Then she does the swipe. What happens when she lets go of that dress, Mel? It goes right back up.
Right into the cum.
She has cum all over her co-worker's borrowed dress. Like, Allison was nice enough to be like, here, have a witch costume. And she was like, oh, sorry, I got cum all over it. Like, how dare? And then, like, also, okay.
She's going.
There's so many things. Also, like, why is that hot? Like, is it hot? Like, because it's not even really on her boobs. It's, like, on her chest. It's not like she's, like massaging it in or anything. She's just like, here it is. It's like Simba. It's like Simba. Like, everything the light touches. Like, it's that, Swipe. And then now it's like on your chest, and it's gonna like dry there and be sticky and dry. And so now they're gonna have like penetrative sex. So either her chest is gonna be like against the sheets, gross, and like scratchy, itchy, sticky, gross.
We know how Erin feels about that.
Or against his chest, which, like, does he want that? Like, he seems like a guy who has dark hair, probably has chest hair, and it's gonna get all in there and get like really sticky and painful. Like, I don't. Every which way I gamed this out, it was a nightmare show. Every way. And he, when she does this, instead of having the reaction, okay.
No,
has
you
the
asked
reaction
me,
like,
does he like it?
Hot damn. Like, holy cats. That's a great cum swipe. Like, I was just like, what? What?
He says, shit, Danny, do you know what you do to me? Seeing you marked that way with my jizz.
Again, like Simba. Like,
with
like
my jizz.
The baboon made like the mortar and pestle. And Simba. Like, marked. And you know what? I had actually read a page ahead. Like, I did the thing on the Kindle where it goes 2 pages ahead. And I saw him say that. That's where my eye went on the page when he's like, I love to see you marked that way with my jizz. Ugh! Like, again, word choice. And I was like, oh, so like right after the beach, he's gonna like splooge on her face? Like, okay, like, I guess I'll go back 1 page to read how this money shot happens. And then to find out that that's not even what happened blew my mind. Anyway, I guess we can move on. But this was the part that had me confused, and I needed to do a lap around the living room and come back. Like in Pride and Prejudice, I needed to take a turn about the room, and then I had been sitting in one attitude for too long. I needed to come back to my book.
Oh, shit. I have a big headache now. Thanks for that, Erin.
Sorry.
My whole face hurts.
Calm down. We still got to do pumpkin pounders after this.
It's true. Oh, I'm so excited for pumpkin pounders. So she takes off her dress. She makes quick work with the rest of her dress.
Good.
With the rest of her dress?
Yeah, because she did pull it down a little bit.
Off?
She pulled it down.
Okay, so did she pull the rest of
the
way down?
If it said I pulled down the collar of my dress or the neckline of my dress and I flopped out my boobs and then
that
I
would
did
make
this,
more sense.
So much more sense. And then that protects the integrity of the dress.
Agreed.
From the cum swipe. But that's not what she did. She pulled it part way down and then assumedly let it go. And then it went right back up.
Right. So it says, Zach looks like he was seconds away from ripping it off me. And since this dress belongs to Allison, I have to save it. No way I can explain how it got ripped. And I'm like, how are you going to explain that it's covered in jizz?
I hope she washed it. It doesn't seem that washable. Like, it seems very synthetic.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Melody, it is my solemn vow to you that anything that I ever borrow from you will not be returned covered in jizz. That is my vow to you as my friend and coworker.
I promise that to you as well.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
the
friendship
right
there.
Eye says from
How
here
dare
on.
you?
The look in your eye says from here on out, Erin, I will make this promise to you, and I want you to know that I see it.
I have never returned anything to you with even a speck of jizz on it.
Okay. All right. Yes.
All right.
Samesies. Okay. All right.
Cool. Okay, so she wants a bed. She takes him to the bed.
Yeah.
And then she's wondering, like, can a ghost knock me up? And then she's like,
fair
"Probs
question.
not."
Yeah.
I mean, he is a human body right now, you know? Does he have sperms? I don't know.
Also, like, wouldn't that be a great story? Like, oh, this kid, it was a ghost that came back on Halloween. Oh, your dad? Let me tell you a story. Dad? Here's a picture of him in 1902. You know, like, that would be pretty cool. Anyway, she does do it without a condom, though, with the ghost.
Yes, absolutely, she does. Yeah. Well, she asks him if he has a condom.
Did you bring a condom from the other side?
Right?
A ghost condom from 1995 or whenever you were alive.
It's gonna be crusty, okay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's gonna disintegrate in his hands if it came back through the void, okay? Through the veil. Whatever it is. From the void. Through the veil.
Ghostly condom. Scary. It won't work. It's the scariest kind of condom. That's a ghost story that could really scare you.
It's going to let all the sperms in.
Ghost sperms.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. So they do get to
they
have that sex.
Well, so they have to have that sex like right now because it's like
10
11
minutes left.
Yeah, because they watched all that Brooklyn Nine-Nine and then went to that lame party. You should have been banging it out all day.
Or at least like seeing the sights of Salem. Like at the very, even if you weren't ready to bang it out immediately, go do stuff. Like it blew my mind. Okay.
Agreed. Okay, so then they have to say goodbye, and it's just so sad.
Didn't you think it was crazy that in this lady's chaotic apartment, where like she's super basic, like all she does is stay home and watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, that there is an archaic grandfather clock?
I noted that as well.
Strange. It's like IKEA furniture, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, like pints of ice cream, shit everywhere.
Antique grandfather clock.
I
that
really
she had to move upstairs, up 3 flights of stairs in an apartment she rents, not owns.
Yeah.
Because she won't use the elevator.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought that grandfather clock was going to be like the key to everything. Me too. Like I thought he was going to have come from the grandfather clock or something. Nope. No, she just has one and they just mention it.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, I do have to say there were a couple of lines that really threw me off here too.
Oh, really?
One of them is, I feel another piece of my heart drop into his hand as his cock breaches my pussy.
Yep.
Ah!
Yeah, that's one.
I hate it. Don't talk about keep your heart to yourself.
Well, you were also on record as hating the breaching the gates of the vagina cavity.
Not a fan.
Cavity? Is cavity the right word there? Canal. That's where I was going. Canal.
Yep. That's nice. That's nicer, I think. Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, also, okay, bing boom bong.
Yes.
What is this sex with Melody? Explain this sex to me, Erin, with Melody. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So they're doing it missionary, okay? He's slow and he's a rockin', and then she's like faster, and then he does that faster. And then it says, there's something about the two of us together. I was amazed by how fast he came after I put my mouth on him. He returns the favor by angling his body in such a way that his cock goes to town on my pussy while his thigh hits right into my clit on every stroke. So it's one thigh. Does he go like fully perpendicular to her?
I think he's fully sideways.
And then he's just like karangaing into her too, like laterally?
I guess I thought that he was like sideways And then his like hip bone.
But it says my legs are wrapped around his back in the next paragraph. So his thigh is going into her.
I think she's like this. Oh no, this is a podcast. Sometimes I forget that we're not just talking.
I know, same.
So I think that they are shaped like they are on top of each other, like an X.
Okay.
And it's not that his legs are like scissoring her. It's like both of his legs are behind him, like normal. Like he's just laying prone, like an X. And he's like thrusting that way. And she has her legs around him.
So is one of her legs like up in her armpit and the other one like a little bit farther down?
Yes.
Because
that's what I think. Yes.
Okay.
I still don't really understand how that thigh is working for her, but that's all I can think that it is.
Yeah, and then my hands are clutching his forearms, and his frantic pace starts to shift me across the sheets.
Mm-hmm.
So is she holding his forearms? Like, wouldn't his forearms have to be on the complete other side of her body? So is she like crossing her body with one arm to like hang on to his forearms for dear life?
Maybe.
Well,
I feel like his forearms could be on either side of her head and still he's like at an angle.
But the thigh is so much farther below.
I don't understand the thigh. I feel like she meant like hip bone or like pubic bone.
Okay. Yeah, that is a possibility. Listen, bing boom bong. I don't know how this happened.
Bing boom bong. Homework. HBs.
Yeah.
Try this.
Email us. heavingbosoms@gmail.com. Please send us a diagram.
The Halloween Boo Challenge. Don't videotape it. Don't give us much details. All you have to do is email us with a simple subject line, Halloween Boo Challenge. Email, body of the email, yes or no?
Yes.
And the answer, the question is it possible?
Yeah.
Did you figure it out?
Did you do it?
Oh, no. Thank you.
And then if you want to like put a bunch of returns and a bunch of like, spoil it like you do for spoilers, like as if you were about to talk about Game of Thrones before it was okay.
Sure.
Then if you want to like go into detail way down below about how it happened, what worked, what didn't, Erin will look at the top of the email and I will scroll down.
Which is crazy because I love a Game of Thrones spoiler, but I don't want to read that.
Fair.
I will, though. I will, and then I'll hate it. I'll hate that I did it. And then I'll think about it a lot. Then I will be upset that I did. But I will, though. Okay.
So then they have to go. Goodbye. He's going.
Bye.
They do like a hug.
Oh, she's kisses it. He's watching the clock as the seconds kiss down as they tick down. Then she's like, no, don't watch the seconds. Just kiss me.
Look at my eyes.
And then he's gone. Look
at my eyes.
Yeah. So what happens next, Mel?
The next chapter opens. It's from Zach's perspective. I come to with a gasp. The first thing I notice is the incessant beeping. You guys, he's in a hospital bed. He's connected to all the machiney jigger whatsits. And his brother comes in and tells him that he has been in a coma for 2 years.
2 years?
He got hit by a bus and he's been in a coma for 2 years. So his brother's like trying to walk him through it. And then when Emil, his brother, now he remembers who he is. He knows his first and last name. He knows all the things. And so Emil is like trying to explain it to him. And he goes, listen, Zach, the doctors called us a couple of days ago before you woke up. They didn't want us to get our hopes up, but they said there was some signs of brain activity, and I don't like the way he stops talking. And what?
Boners.
You got hard, dude. You got hard.
After 2 years in a coma.
Yeah. The first thing is little Zach just making his presence known. So, okay, and so he blinks and he goes, what? And he goes, seriously, it happened 2 or 3 days ago. It's all been a blur. I don't know what these doctors are looking for, but the head guy told Mom and Dad that all this time you've been a limp noodle. Then all of a sudden, hard. I love the idea that, like, since the erection, it's just been a blur. Like, since my brother finally got hard after 2 years, it's been so tough to, like, keep track of all of the incredible medical things that have been happening.
My favorite was when he talked about how the mom, he'd never seen a mother so overjoyed to know that her son got a boner. And she was just like, thank God my son, he got that boner.
Yeah. Oh, wait, it gets better. So it says, Mom was here on Halloween. I swear to God, you've never seen a woman so happy to see her adult son get a boner. He gives me a shit-eating grin. But don't worry, bro. The nurses shuffled her out of here before you creamed your hospital gown.
Yikes.
And this motherfucker's, Zach's first worry is, oh my gosh, I hope Danny doesn't care that, like, other women were handling my junk to clean me up.
What? Which is like, okay, if I woke up from a coma,
yeah, I
would assume that all of the things that I thought while I was in the coma were coma dreams.
Totally.
Not that it really happened. And he doesn't even have the thought that maybe Danny wasn't real and she was, like, imagined while he was in the coma.
Right. He's just like, oh man, I squirted 7 times in my hospital gown? That must have been when my spirit was boning down Danny. Like, what?
It is definitely real. And that definitely happened.
So, I don't know. I can't.
Uh-huh.
I laughed so hard at this.
Have you ever
just
heard
squirts being a medical miracle, you know? Just like
you love this.
It's so funny to me. And I love that the brother was like, dude, you got hard, dude.
He's such like a skater or a surfer or something.
We haven't been able to stop since you started jizzing everywhere.
Everybody's
just been so excited.
In this moment, we said the words, dude, you got hard, dude. And you know what that reminded me of? Is those two guys that beat up Max in Hocus Pocus.
Oh.
And the big guy, you know, Ice, he's got ice shaved in the back of his head. You know what his fucking name is? Ernie.
What is it?
It's Ernie.
Oh, shit.
Because when he tells Max that his name is Ice, the other one is like, dude, Ernie. And he's like, no, Ice. Remember, my name's Ice. Remember that?
I do remember that.
Swish, nothing but net. Remembering stuff in 2021 fiscal year. Anyway, okay. I just want to go back to the coma for, like, because this is the thing that astounded me most in this book, is that he thought Danny was real. Have you ever heard Camille Nanjiani and Emily Gordon talk about, like, when she was in the coma and what she remembers from being in a coma?
No.
So, you know, like, The Big Sick was based on her actual coma experience. And she talks about having, like, this full, like, lucid fantasy dream about people with sticky fingers, like candy fingers, as if they were, like, suckers that had been licked on.
Yeah.
Taking her and, like, doing stuff to her for the duration of her coma. And, like, now that she looks back on it, she thinks that was probably, like, the tape and all the IVs and things that were taped to her and all the monitors, but she was remembering it as people with candy fingers, like sticky lollipop fingers.
Whoa.
Imagine if Emily Gordon woke up from her coma and was like, where's my lollipop boyfriend? And, like, was certain that was real. Like, it just blows my mind. Like, you thought she was a real person. Anyway.
Where's my lollipop boyfriend?
What?
Where's my candy cane prince?
Candyman, where is he? So over the next 6 weeks or whatever, he learns to walk again. He's no longer this Adonis of a man. He doesn't have these abs anymore that she saw when he was a ghost.
Wasted away.
He's really got to build this back up again. He doesn't have his floppy hair anymore. He's bald. There's all these problems. And he's like, Danny's not going to be in love with me anymore when I learn to walk again. And I go find her.
When I get to take out my feeding tube.
Wouldn't you at some point be like, hey, bro, would you mind going to my old apartment and seeing if knock on the door and see if there's a chick named Danny that lives there? I know it sounds crazy. Would you just mind doing it?
Yes.
No, not once between Halloween and Christmas Eve does he even think to send out a pulse beacon to see what the deal is. Nope. So then on Christmas Eve, his brother is driving him home to his parents' house and he's like, no, drive me home to my old apartment where I used to live before I got hit by a bus. And he's like, okay. And then Max, who just learned to walk again.
Thank you, Erin. I'm glad you're not skipping over this. His name is Zach, not Max.
Right. Zach, who just learned to walk again, decides that instead of going up the stairs or the elevator, he will climb a December ladder in Massachusetts.
The side of a building.
Yeah, you're also it's a metal ladder. You could get stuck to it the kid in this movie.
You'll shoot your eye out kid.
Yeah, you could get stuck to it if your hands are too wet. It's not a good thing. So he goes up to that balcony and he tip taps on that balcony.
And she has been a big depressed.
She's been a big horny. Because she's just like,
also
let's
a big horny.
Do sex now. Is this Christmas magic? What's the deal? What's going on with your hair? I don't care. And he's like, I'm alive. Yeah. There was a coma. And she's like, I don't care. Let's just do sex. He doesn't even get the chance to explain to her the miracle magic of comas at all, ever in the book. She just does sex on him.
Oh, really?
He does not. He tries several times.
No, he tells her about, but it's herbs. The author herbs is it. She doesn't do it in dialogue.
Then
it says wow, Zach told me all about the way that he was in that coma for 2 years. But now we're going to do sex. Yeah, that happens. Man.
The end.
The end. They're together forever. They're meant to be. Danny and Thackeray are together forever.
And stay tuned for the Christmas story of Allison and Max.
Yes.
Because that's what's next.
I need it to happen.
All right.
Wow. What a delight.
What a delight. What a treat.
Wow. You guys, you got to read this. It's so fun.
Yes.
Erin, do you have a lady love?
I do. Hey, ladies. Is it the spooky season? Have you already watched Practical Magic this year for your annual Practical Magic watching? Have you already been like, and I knew in the crystalline knowledge? Have you already done all that and then you're like, man, I wish I had more Practical Magic to watch to make me feel good before Halloween.
Yeah.
You can just watch it again. I've now watched Practical Magic 3 times and I'm not ashamed, and you can just keep watching it and it's fine. And it's not sad of you. It's not sad. Also, go back to those 90s Halloween movies. Man, The Craft is awesome. The Craft is such a good fucking movie.
Yeah.
You are looking at me in a way that you've never seen The Craft.
I can't remember.
Oh my God, Melody. And you were willing to pretend that you had seen The Craft. I saw it pass across your face. Do I admit this or do I pretend to have seen it? And you decided to pretend that you had seen it when you went, yeah.
I do it constantly.
I knew it.
I've never seen The Craft.
Have you not seen? You've seen Practical Magic, though, right?
Yes. I have seen Practical Magic. Yes. Whew. That is a definite.
God, Sandra Bullock is just, they're so, Stockard Channing, man. Like, oh, God.
Stockard Channing in that movie is so good. That guy from that concierge doctor show that I love. Hank.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
I love him in that, too.
Oh, God, that bus comes and all those apples go so high in the air. And like, why are they so high in that air?
Because the height indicates the amount of tragedy.
Oh, he died because I loved him so much.
It's a big tragedy.
Tragic.
Yeah.
What a great movie.
My lady love is, did you forget there was a lobster in Hocus Pocus? If so, go back and watch that Hocus Pocus,
There is a lobster. A bad lobster that must be punished.
Bad lobster. Yeah, go back and watch Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
And I guess watch The Craft.
Yeah, and like Scream 2, that's a hot Timothy Olyphant you're going to find there.
I haven't seen any Screams.
What? I love Screams. Oh my gosh. I even love Scream 3.
I didn't watch any horror movies.
You know who else is in Hocus Pocus? Is Margot Martindale's in there. It's such a great, or I'm sorry, not Hocus Pocus, Practical Magic. Practical Magic is such a good movie. So is Scream. I'm sorry, I'm everywhere right now. They're all good. Go watch them. Watch them.
It's spooky season and Erin loves spooky season.
I love spooky season. I'm a pumpkin slut.
It's true. All right. I love you tons.
I love you too.
HBs, you can find us on all the places. We've got a brand new revamped website that is fucking sexy, if I do say so myself. And by if I do say so myself, Natalie is amazing. Natalie did it.
Is it out? Is it live?
It will be by the time this episode comes out.
Cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go to it.
Yeah, go to heavingbosoms.com, I think.
Yep.
And that's where our website is. And that's where you can find all of the rest of our bullshit. You can find Patreon from there. You can find our merch from there. You can find all of our social medias from there. Is what happened with my mouth.
You can find the HB Reading Embrace. You still got some time. You still got 2 months on that embrace. You only have to read one book if you can find a way to tangentially relate it to all the categories. So you have tons of time.
It's an embrace.
It's an embrace. You could read this book, which is only 130 pages long.
Boy, is it a treat.
Yes.
All right. So keep being a badass.
And love yourself as much as you love just taking that little bit of jizz and just spreading it around on your chest. Sexily?
He found it to be sexy.
You guys, if you want to make that part of the Halloween Boo Challenge, feel free.
Yeah.
If you made that a part of the Halloween Boo Challenge, please put yes asterisk or no asterisk if you did. What a time to be alive. Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, you. Yes, listener, you. Are you loving the show? If so, please leave a rating and review in your podcast app. The 90 seconds you take to say something nice not only helps new people find the show, but it makes me super smile over at HBHQ. Also, I've had a few people ask, and the answer is yes. We are still doing the 5-star bribe. If you leave us a review with 5 stars, then we'll do whatever book you want. We're real deep into the list, though, so it might be a while. Lilas! Okay, back to the show.